So we're going through the 60s. We're kind of getting to the end of the 60s. In fact, we're into the early 70s. The project's kind of rolling on, and it's research for research's sake until this man arrives. This man is George Jellicoe. He was the youngest kid of Admiral Jellicoe of Battle of Jutland fame, and he was the something funny lord of the Dewberry What's-it, privy to the whatever of our ridiculous archaic parliamentary system. And he was, for whatever reason, in charge of reflating Britain's economy in the early 70s. And to do this, he wanted to invest heavily, flood money into research and development. This sounds like a good idea, right? It is a good idea. Except what he did was, he went to British Rail and singularly targeted the Advanced Passenger Train project and said that it needs to speed up and start delivering outcomes. Now, by this point, the project, they didn't even have a train. They just had those sort of scaffoldy coaches getting pushed around. They were doing research for research's sake, which is good. They were not necessarily ready to start ramping up into creating a train and deciding what a train should be. They were still in the what's this train going to look like phase, not a what's a commercial model for developing a new fleet of rolling stock. So this man, George Jellicoe, in 1971, what was kind of referred to within BR as the Jellicoe Initiative started bouncing around. Now at this point in Derby, I think it was in Derby, yeah, it would have been Derby, Metro Camel and others and British Rail were putting together, here it is, the actual Advanced Passenger Train. This is APT-E. So there were three, if you like, test trains. The first was APT POP, which you've seen, which is really a bit of a hybrid of a few bits of rolling stock. Then APT-E, the Advanced Passenger Train Experimental, which is this thing, or this is a bit of it. And then the last train was APT-P, the Advanced Passenger Train Prototype. Or at least it was in the real timeline, the one that we're all living in. Anyway, it looks quite cool, doesn't it? It's quite, it looks like an aircraft rather than a train, doesn't it? Well, that's because it was put together with a lot of aircraft technology and aircraft construction methods. But it was very much still a test train. They weren't planning to do any sort of ramping up until this man George came along. There he is, George. Mr. Jellicoe came along and started pushing that this should progress more rapidly as a project. Now, we have to look at three organisations. We've got British Rail. We have at one end, so that was kind of British Rail managing the project as a research project. We have HM Treasury at the other end, holding the money, and then we have in the middle what was originally, or while APT was going on, the Department of the Environment. For whatever reason, transport was part of that. It maybe makes more sense than in hindsight, maybe it does make some sense. And it was in the process of sort of deciding whether it was the Department of Transport or the Department of the Environment. It was merging and splitting and, And essentially, from 1971 onwards, there was just a complete shambles of discussion of what on earth APT should be. Chaos. Absolute chaos.